Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chowdhury. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Wednesday, the 25th of November. Bangladesh court indicts 4 suspected IS operatives. 3 militants who stormed an army camp in India's Kashmir gunned down. And UN calls for independent probe on Nepal violence over new constitution. And now for all the details. A Bangladeshi court has indicted 4 suspected Islamic State operatives for allegedly conspiring to topple the government by trying to create anarchy in the country. The trial in the case will begin early next year.
Days after the Bangladesh government rejected claims of Islamic State's involvement in the murders of foreign nationals in the country, a court in capital Dhaka indicted a suspected coordinator of the local branch of the Islamic State and 3 other members of the militia. Those indicted under the Anti-Terrorism Act are IS coordinator Shakhavatul Kabir and 3 suspected members Anwar Hossain Batin, Rabiul Islam and Nazrul Islam. But the country's Interior Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal restated that there is no organizational existence of the Middle East-based terror group in the country. The 4 suspects arrested from capital Dhaka in January have however claimed innocence. Since September last year, about 15 suspects in the country have been arrested for having contacts or trying to establish contacts with the IS. Bangladesh has witnessed 4 attacks on foreign nationals in the country since late September this year. The IS had claimed responsibility for most of the attacks. But the Bangladeshi government, led by Sheikh Hasina, had denied the claims by the extremist group and had blamed domestic political opponents for the growing violence in the country.
Moving on to news from Pakistan. The Pakistan People's Party or the PPP and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or the PTI have agreed to form a joint opposition in the Pakistan National Assembly. The move has been decided by both the parties to jointly raise issues through a single platform.
The 2 major opposition parties in Pakistan, the PPP headed by Asif Ali Zardari and Imran Khan-led PTI, reached an understanding to form a combined opposition in a bid to give tough time to the government. The understanding was reached during a meeting between delegations of both the sides at Parliament House on Tuesday. The decision has been taken to tone up opposition's voice and have a unified stance on public and national issues in the House. The development comes even as the opposition parties have been accusing the Nawaz Sharif government of not fulfilling its constitutional responsibilities on vital national issues. The PTI complained that it was being ignored in setting the agenda of the National Assembly, and over the past 2.5 years, not a single adjournment motion of the party had been included in it.
Meanwhile, Pakistani top defense officials attended prayers and paid tribute to flying officer Maryam Mukhtiar, who died in a jet crash during a routine operational training mission. She was Pakistan's first woman pilot to embrace martyrdom. On Tuesday, Mukhtiar and squadron leader Saqib Abbasi encountered a serious in-flight emergency during the final stages of the mission. Abbasi was injured in the crash. Both the pilot were praised by the Air Force for their professionalism and courage after they tried to save the ill-fated aircraft until the very last minute. Registered Afghan refugees are likely to be allowed to stay in Pakistan till December 2017, officials have said. The fate of Afghan refugees had been hanging in balance for some time now.
According to reports, the Pakistan Ministry of State and Frontier Region proposed the Prime Minister's Secretariat that Afghans with proof of registration cards should be given extra time to reside in the country. If the Federal Cabinet approves proposal, this will be the 4th extension given to the refugees. Last year, the Afghan government had sought a 3-year extension of the registered refugees. The Pakistan government had issued proof of registration cards to 1.6 million Afghan refugees. The card issued last year will expire on December 2016. The Pakistan government had decided to expel all unregistered Afghans after the Peshawar attack last year. But the implementation of the decision was put on hold because the federal and provincial governments could not work out a mechanism for the repatriation of illegal Afghans. Afghan refugees in Pakistan have often been subject of suspicion for militant and criminal activities in the country.
Overseas Pakistanis will not be able to vote in the next general elections in 2018. The Election Commission of Pakistan, or ECP, has said. The ECP on Tuesday informed the Parliamentary Committee that voters' biometric verification and use of electronic voting machine will not be possible in 2018. This comes as the mock exercise carried out for voting of overseas Pakistanis in 4 countries failed for a number of technical and legal reasons. The ECP has now written a letter to the United Nations Development Programme to prepare a feasibility report on the issue of granting voting rights to Pakistani expats and asked for its recommendations. 3 militants who tried to storm their way into an Indian Army base in Kashmir on Wednesday were gunned down by the Indian Army. An Indian soldier was also killed in the incident.
The militants attacked the Indian Army base in the country's northern Jammu and Kashmir in wee hours of Wednesday. The assault triggered a fierce gunfight in which all the attackers were killed. One civilian also lost his life in the incident, the army said.
सुबह हमें एक रिपोर्ट मिला कि वहाँ पर 31 GR लोकल यूनिट है आर्मी का, उसके अंदर कुछ ब्लास्ट की आवाज़ हमें सुनाई दी, उसके बाद कुछ फायर शॉट्स की भी आवाज़ सुनाई दी.
The army base is located in Tangha sector, which is close to the line of control or LOC and has been used as an infiltration route by militants from Pakistan in the past. In a separate incident, the army also busted a major terror hideout and recovered several improvised explosive devices and ammunition from Poonch region in Jammu and Kashmir. A search operation is underway to flush out hiding terrorists in the area.
Russia has said that it will continue supplying free weapons and ammunition to Afghan forces to fight increasing terror threats in Afghanistan. Security in the war-torn country has gone from bad to worse due to rise in the number of extremist groups.
Over a month after Afghanistan requested Russia for military assistance, Moscow has pledged to continue free supply of weapons to Afghan national security forces to fight emerging threats from terror groups, including the Islamic State. The statement came during a meeting between Afghan Upper House Speaker Fazal Hadi Muslimyar and his Russian counterpart Valentina Matvienko on Tuesday. Moscow said that it will continue to closely observe the current situation in Afghanistan and will not ignore the recent rise in Taliban activity. Matvienko is also said to have expressed concerns over deteriorating security situation in northern and northeastern parts of the country, specifically in the northern Kunduz, which briefly went into the hands of Taliban recently. Russia has been supplying the Afghanistan government with free weaponry since 2010, which mostly includes light arms and vehicles. According to reports, Afghanistan is also considering purchase of 3 Russian-made gunship helicopters in a bid to modernize its air force.
Moving on to Nepal. In an attempt to resolve Madhesi unrest, Chairman of Unified CPN Maoist Pushpa Kamal Dahal met 4 leaders of the agitating Madhesis and agreed to resolve the problem in a package. The package would address their major concern about demarcation of provincial boundaries. However, no major decision was taken during the meeting. The meeting was held after top Nepali political parties decided to bring Constitution Amendment Bill after consulting with agitating groups. Opposition party Nepali Congress will also hold separate talks with Madhesi leaders. United Nations has called for an independent probe into spiraling violence in Nepal due to the protest by Madhesi community over the new constitution. Here is a report.
United Nations Human Rights Council has demanded for independent investigation in Nepal to establish facts and bring all perpetrators of violence to justice. The move comes after 4 people were killed over the last weekend in police firing in southern Nepal. We have been urging Nepalese authorities to ensure that the existing standards on the appropriate use of force are fully respected. Unfortunately, reports suggest that these steps do not appear to have been taken, said Ravina Shamdasani, spokesperson of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. She added the UN has received information that police stormed a hospital where victims of the violence were being treated and assaulted patients and hospital staff. The Human Rights Agency also appealed the Madhesis community to renounce the use of violence while they protest against the country's new constitution.
The UN has appealed to the Bangladeshi government to impose an immediate moratorium on capital punishment. The call comes after Bangladesh executed opposition leaders and war crimes convict Salahuddin Qadir Chowdhury and Ali Hassan Muhammad Mujahid on Sunday. We have long warned that given the doubts raised over the fairness of trials conducted before the tribunal, the government of Bangladesh should not implement death sentences. The UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights said in a statement, the trials, according to the UN, did not meet international standards set in the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, to which Bangladesh is a party. Mujahid and Chowdhury were found guilty of supporting the Pakistan Army in 1971 and for their role in the massacre of intellectuals, freedom fighters and those who supported Bangladesh's independence. Bollywood is set to present rawness of Indian society on the silver screen. Yesh Saphira packs an intense punch with dark plot this weekend.
Yesh Saphira is high on action and exposes the dark realities of Indian societies.
Yo, welcome to the party. Sun Sanati Sutta party. Welcome to the party.
आराम करने नहीं आया मैं यहाँ पे। हटा इस टंकर को यहाँ से भूत।
Directed by Varun Khanna, the film revolves around a brutal gang war.
ये पकड़ कट्टा, मौका मिलता है साले को ठोक दियो। अपने भाई की मौत का बदला लेने के लिए आया हूँ।
बहुत एक छोटे एफर्ट के साथ में फिल्म बनाई है, बट मतलब एफर्ट छोटा बड़ा मैं क्या बोलूँ, मतलब फिल्म तो फिल्म होती है, पर एक अच्छा सिनेमा है, आप सब लोगों को बहुत एंटरटेनिंग लगेगा।
Comedian Sunil Pal also came out to extend support to the team.
इश्क सरफिरा ये एक जो कहानी है, ये यूथ की कहानी है, नौजवानों की कहानी है, और जो कॉलेज गोइंग स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके साथ में प्यार मोहब्बत में क्या क्या तकरार होती है, क्या क्या मुसीबतें होती है, वो है। और एज वेल एज ये म्यूज़िकल फिल्म है, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये सभी वर्ग को पसंद आएगी।
वो हर आदमी मरेगा जिसने भूपी को मारा।
Yesh Saphira is a revenge tragedy based on true incidents. It revolves around family rivalry in northern India.
से जाए, मगर जुबान से ना जाए।
The film is male-dominated as it is only men who are calling shots.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Bangladesh court indicts 4 suspected IS operatives. 3 militants who stormed an army camp in India's Kashmir gunned down. And UN calls for independent probe on Nepal violence over new constitution. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.